democracy mean?
Change by the people and for the people.
Change for the people, by the people. Democracy. Demo, kratos. Demo, Greek, people. The demos, the people, us. Kratos, choice. It's the Greeks, they gave it a name. Dalasias land. Dalasias and but that's just what it means. We work together to make the change that we want to see in our environment. We make the change that we want to see for ourselves and for our people. We make the change. Not someone that you send somewhere. They have a job to do. We send them there because they're closer, they can be our eyes and ears there, they can be our representatives, they can be our voices. But we are the ones who make the change. And there are many ways we're going to make those changes. So I want us to do an exercise. We've got 5 pieces of paper. I want you to take the red one and the green one out. You're going to take your red or your green paper, right? Green means yes. I pick this one. Red means no. How many of us think that our municipality, the municipality that we live in, is doing a good job? I only see red cards, but there's 1 green card here, 2 green cards. So I'm going to start with the green cards. Can you give me your responses by one? Why do you say you think your municipality is doing a good job?
Okay, my name is DJ. I think my community, my municipality is doing a great job because we are living in an informal settlement in Princess nearby Westgate Mall. Okay, now most of projects are now starting to come in. They've been implemented since 1994. Mostly now, all phases of phase 1 until phase 7 have begun, water and everything. So they are doing their job. It's not because of election year. They have started 2 years ago to implement all those things. Yes.
Thank you.
So I think they are doing a great job.
Thank you.
We can't always criticize. We must appreciate good job also.
Great, thank you. You passed your compliment. But for some of us, some things actually are working out. They're working out really well. It's not the best. It's not the easiest. It's a community of informal settlements, and we can't live in perpetual informality. That is formal. That is funbona imigwaqo, funbona iskontiri, funbona lo internet engena, funbona drainage, funbona i-blocks ingene ejardini, right? That's what we want, and they are starting to see all of these things happening. But now I want to hear from someone who has a red card.
Indeed, I raised the red card, but I was in between. I was doubting rather. Well, why I'm saying so, I would also like to concur with the first speaker. Yes, there's work, but that work came after our engagement with government or the responsible councillors and municipality, of course. We are still living in informal settlement, but after youth took to their own hand, and as Mr. Vard said, that we've been building the robots. We have formal electricity today. We have water. We don't have street.
There is a problem that Umasipala has to be engaged in that way in order to get usurish namans, right? That's already a problem. So he puts up his red card. Why Umasipala doesn't come and assist us with what we need at the time that we need it when we are engaging Yendle? Red card for Umasipala.
My name is Ongeziwe, so I stay in Lolly. For me now, the reason I took the red one, it's because I feel like there's poor service delivered in my own community. Because there are no parks for now. Abantwana abanayo that foundation. Abayitholayo like ama-sport facilities as now Lolly, and it's been years kwenziwa iskontiri but aziyi phambili. It's like ibachinja abafake amanye amathenda but ours is iskontiri, and then kunama potholes and all that. And I feel like even our own councillor, it's because ihlala in a better place more than Loli. Because thina sihlala in a township ihlala kwenye ndawo which is ihlezi nogesi, while us thina struggle ngogesi every now and then. Yeah, that's why.
Thank you. Thank you. How many of us know this story? How many of us know this story? Emakanda. Who knows what Emakanda is? Emakanda, Grahamstown, then the Eastern Cape. I lived there for 6 years of my life. Yo, agunzima. Same thing. The mayor of Makanda lives an hour and a half drive away. Ebai, Port Elizabeth. The mayor of a place that they are responsible for, in charge of, supposed to be looking after, supposed to know inside and out in order to be able to address the problems there, in order to provide service delivery there. They have no water. Water infrastructure has been, since I was living there, 10 years ago when I left. Even before, there was problems with water and sanitation services. In summer, there would be a drought. In winter, because it's a winter rainfall area, it would just flood everywhere, and when you open the tap, the water comes out brown. Right? Your councillor, who's supposed to be taking care of your area, lives in a better serviced area, an area that has all the things it needs. How do they represent us? How do they understand Krumus Pilanga? Can I have one more red card? One more red card. Remember who you're warming it up for. Oh, hand. Shy.
Hello guys, I'm Shadi. Actually, I disagree that in my community, the local government has done enough, because looking from where I come from in the community, some people have benefited, they got houses, yes, but there are those people who are still struggling, living in the shacks. And during rainy season, water enters into their shacks. So I wouldn't say that they have done enough. And looking by the grounds, as I said, there are those parks who have grass and stuff like that. But now, where people play soccer, it's gravel and somebody get hurt when they're playing soccer. So I wouldn't say the government has done enough.
Great.
Thank you.
Thanks, Shadi. Great. Next question. Remember, keep front and center who you are warming it up for, right? When it comes to local government services. How many of us in our communities, in our wards, are experiencing a municipal service problem right now as we speak? Kunenkinga esinayo thina emphakathini wethu thina. Red card is no, green card is yes. If I have a problem, green card. I don't have a problem, red card.
I come and Eloli, for the past week, the whole week. So that is the challenge that we're facing, and no one is answering our questions as to why we get so careful. Yeah.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm from Annandale. I think we're facing in our community is the police station. They never deliver. 3 weeks back, my place got broken into. Last week, someone got hijacked. When they got to the police station, my police were playing PlayStation. They couldn't attend to the issue. So I think that the police are very ineffective and useless. The station is servicing about 3 areas: Annandale, Fine Town, Loli, but no one is getting any help from that police station. It's completely useless.
Mina ngikhuluma rona bothata re nang le bone ke nyaope ane youth e ngata se itse ba nyaope And whenever she complain at a police station, amaphoyisa wakhona asebenzisana nama-drug dealers.
Okay, me, the problem that we have in our communities, SMMEs. SMMEs are delaying the projects. They are fighting. Small, medium enterprises, businesses. Those bathola matenda which buys something. So they are fighting for that pie. Okay. If you point the law uzovalidate. So they are bad delay a project with a pambi. So that's the problem I have in my community.
Thank you. Freedom also means freedom to play, right? To play in safe neighborhoods, on great sporting facilities that can be able to accommodate my talent, my interests, so that I can be the best that I can be, the way I define it, right? Freedom means freedom from freedom to be safe, freedom from crime, freedom from being abused by our police service personnel. Freedom comes in many different ways, and this is what we want, right, from our local government, to enable the means for us to be free in all the ways we can imagine it. How many of us have ever reported a municipal problem? It can be a problem about the service I'm getting. It can be a problem about something wrong I'm seeing in my community.
Yeah. My name is Yamtanda Makatini from Tembele. I had a friend who was doing drugs. And yeah, usheli linking ayakhe ukuthi like kubo ubalekile because a stepfather almost raped her. So masifonela amaphoyisa athe abusy wona. Athe abusy and yeah, azange bathatha responsibility.
I'm very sorry to hear that. But sometimes how many of us know the story? Or know some, not this one specifically, but like, how many of us have seen or heard of something like this before? A police abuse. Abantu baya. Ingane zadle emakhayeni. Thanks.
Sanibonani, mina ngumbhali waseloli. 2019 bekunenkinga ukuthi abasalanda udoti. So thina sahamba saya as youth club yethu sahamba saya kukhansela samtshela ukuthi sesidinga abantu bezothatha udoti. And then bese thina sayenza i-clean up campaign. After lapho bese beze bazothatha udoti.
And when you report, when you tell us your story, hi, Kinamang, this is my problem that I saw, right? This is why I didn't report it. Your reason. All responses are valid.
Hi, my name is like from where I come from, there's people from outsiders who actually say Princess.
Thank you.
There's people from outsiders who actually take electricity from like our electricity box. So like sometimes we feel like reporting it is just useless because they don't do anything about it. So yeah, so that's why sometimes we don't like report things like that.
Okay. So I see it. The problem is there. I don't report it because nothing ever happens. So what's the point? This is the story you're telling us, right? Great. On your foot. Another red card.
Sanibonani. My name is Kenneth. I'm from Roriport Princess. Some people might think this is funny, but it's actually not. We have men who are abused by women. And when you go to the police station and report that, they tell you that you need to man up and defend yourself. It's a woman. When you defend yourself, it's a crime. So, like, we don't report those cases anymore.
The reason why I'm asking this question is that there are many reasons for us where we see that there are service-related problems in our community, and there are different kinds of reasons. That we see a problem that is happening in a service-related problem that's happening in our communities, but that problem we think that someone else is reporting it, it's someone else's responsibility to resolve it. Can we be in one meeting, please? It's someone else's responsibility to resolve it. I've tried reporting it, or so many of us have tried reporting it and getting something done about it, but nothing ever happens. We don't get feedback. Or simply because I just didn't care enough about it. But what is a community if we are not there for each other? What is a community when our resources that are supposed to serve the whole community, we are not monitoring? I like your story, Mbali. Was it Mbali? No. Yeah, it was Mbali. The cleanup campaign. I like your story, Mbali. In your community, you saw a problem. Udoti, no one is coming to collect that dirt. We are living with this problem. There's going to be disease. We are yoga. COVID. What is going to happen? Right? What is going to happen? So we do it ourselves. If not me, then who is? Why do I wait for somebody to do something when I can be somebody? When I am that somebody who can do something. That's part of our civic participation, right? We don't just go and vote and wait for Masipala to go and do a thing. We go and vote and we say we want the right representatives in my community, someone who lives in my community. Someone who lives in my community, who sees what I can see. Sense nine. Nasi school, ingane zakho zihamba lesikole. Singena nisonke esikolweni. Kodwa akunambani akunagesi akunamanzi. What are you expecting is happening here? What are you going to do about it? I need you to go and make a stink of it there in the council meetings. I need you to set up a ward committee meeting so that thina njengomphakathi sokwazi ukuthi sikhulume le ndaba kahle. Sithola ama resolution kuwe ukuthi uzosenzelani ngale nkinga. Ufike la kuphi in your role kwamasipala, right? As our councillor, as our ward representative. Why is such and such not happening? Kuningisilinde IDP. Kuningisilinde ukuthi la sisibona amagama wethu ukuthi Themelihle extension 3. It's on the IDP, which means that in the next 5 years, Zotolani Surish, Zotolani amanzi, Zotolani ugesi, Zotolani asikela ma-stand. Singahlala ngaphansi kwemikhukhu esingazi ukuthi sizohlala la noma sisuswa ama-ends, right? Because these are the things that we need as a society, as a community. Last question. How many of us have ever engaged directly with our ward councillor, right? So this presumes that siyamazi ward councillor wethu ukuthi ungubani. If I have engaged directly, if ngiyamazi ward councillor wami, green card. If angimazi ward councillor wami, I've never engaged, red card.
Inkinga esinayo ukuthi kune-corruption yokuthi kungavula i-library dala iyakhiwe since from 2016 or 15. So ikhansela yethu ayisincede ukulisa le ndaba le, instead of that udla imali yethenda yakusiyi-library kuphela i-sports complex futhi. Masiya kuye upostpone ama-meeting wethu, sinini nakasazi, sinini ubusy, masifona uya dropa ama-calls wethu, masisenda ama-email akaba-reply.
Sabo. How many of us know this story? How many of us is this thing happening to?
Inkinga yethu phakathi ama-toilet sokuthi ilakadrayivayo sokuthi ejaridile emkhukhwini bahlala abayi-6 ejaridile i-toilet liyagcwala, then masothi like siyahamba siyakukhansela like izomcomplainela sithi like i-toilet ligcwele, usitshela ukuthi like akusindaba yakhe leyo angazingeni imoto yakhona like bozothi uyayiqasha bayacharge imali yakhona and like akumele kungabe bayacharge imali yakhona
whether or not when voted EFF, no voted ANC, no voted DA, we don't care. When you're a ward councillor, you're a ward councillor. Umphakathi wakho loyo. Lo mphakathi mele umele ubondele. Right? Usize. Not akuyona indaba yami leyo. Yenze ngemi. Abuthi
mira nakalibise ke kahabo it's a holy bottom princess nakai mana kiti Fatimiti Mr. Swati. I still make it complete the community.
So Councillor, how much why have we done this exercise, right? The shop my red card, the shop my green card, we get triggered, some of us, because this is an issue that we know personally in details, right? None of that's why. More flattering thing, they take in an air float. That's not a way to grow up. That's what he's saying. Drugs are being used left, right, and center. Nyaupe is just getting worse in our communities, and our community safety is at risk. There are no street lights, there are no sporting grounds and facilities for us to go and be safe, play safe, meet each other in a safe space. There's no watching of what's happening in the community from the police service. Team gets it. As nothing is cut, as food. Right? All of these things are happening. But we still have power. We still have a voice in all of this, right? I think throughout this period, this whole year, we are going to be told the same thing. The power is in your hands. Youth must vote. You must rise. Young people, rise to do something. Vote, register to vote. Vote black, green, and gold. Vote blue and white. Vote red. And all of these things. And that's your decision to make about where you see the energy, where you see the momentum, where you see people who can be able to stand up for you and represent you. But that doesn't mean that we sit back. We practice our democracy. We practice the change that we want to see in the world. We make it happen. We get involved, right? We see that a problem is happening, we report the problem. Street lights are down. You phone, you get a reference number. You send a WhatsApp. You send a WhatsApp, we are what Twitter, we are what Facebook, right? You make a record of when did you post, when did you tweet, when did you WhatsApp, when did you phone. To say that there is this problem, this problem, this problem, this problem. Because eventually, like the folks at Tembelihle, right? What I like about the people at Tembelihle is that these people are people who are organized and are constantly organized and they're practicing their democracy. Even with all of the problems, even with all of the difficulties, even with all of the robots being burned and broken, right? There is process and activity happening. People are meeting. People are asking, what can we do? How can we navigate this thing? How can we hack this thing? When they come for the voting to tell us to vote for them on the campaign drive, abantu are saying, you, Futi, you came here last year. Here is our list. On such and such a day, this happened. On such and such a day, this happened. On such and such a day, this happened. We have been complaining about the same issue to you. How are you going to change? I've got you noted. So, key things, right? In order to change our conditions, we have to be clear about a few things. One, we have to know who we are. Nna ke Sekoetlane, ke holetse Thwapa, extension 12, right? Who am I? Where do I live? What do I care about? I need a job. For that job, I need to work on the internet. It's all of my peers, it's all of their children, it's all my cousins who are living in that same community. How na skontiri? Meaning skontiri for me is not just to see nice big vehicles. I'm a BMW, nama Mercedes, nama Audi coming in and out on the campaign drive. No. I'm not asking for skontiri so that I want a skontiri because the meaning of skontiri is the street light for my community safety. Where there's light, we can all see each other. It helps a little bit in terms of crime. A little bit. It's not the only solution that we require, but it helps a little bit. We feel safer. We can be on the streets. We can see each other, right? It means the internet that gets piped there with the fiber, right? Lots of communities all over, in many townships, I don't care about the suburbs, in many townships, many fiber. I have a cousin whose job it is, the SMME, who's experiencing the same SMME problem you are saying, right? Because he has to work with other people. His job is to lay down fiber. He's a subcontractor to lay down fiber in black townships where we live, where we are growing up, right? But in my community, that can't happen because the key thing, skontiri, is not there. So what do I need to do, right? I need to be engaging, asking myself questions. What is happening in my environment? Where is the skontiri? Who is responsible for the skontiri? What are the resources that are available to me to address the skontiri? Who's my own councillor? Who is the active gogo in my community that everyone respects? Who can be able to support and assist? Who is the mama or the uncle who likes to go there, to go and complain? I know the people of Tembeleke. There's this thing called TCC, Tembeleke Crisis Committee. It's abogogo, abomkhulu, young people, older people, various kinds of people who are like, we are going to be active. A community resource. Resource is not this only. Resource is us. It's our bodies, it's our commitment, it's our level of engagement. It's us asking the questions, it's us giving ourselves the time. It's us asking, is there an organization that can assist me in terms of dealing with the issue of access to information, right? That's why I met the folks of Tembeleke, right to know. They were like, we need this record. And my council is not giving it to me, Masipala is not giving it to me. We need you to help us with the law to get this piece of paper that proves our point so that we can take it to the next step, right? So we have to map our environment. But to map our environment, we have to first know who we are, where we are, what is going on around us, what do we need, what do we want for ourselves. If you don't know who you are or what you want, there's nowhere you're going to go. With no real conclusion about what's going to happen in our lives. So that's the next thing for me. We have to know what we want. What is the thing that has to change or improve in my community to produce the thing that I want? Who is the person who is responsible for making this thing happen? When the street light goes out, for us it's nice here in Joburg, because we know, or we should know, my job as a resident is to pick up the phone, pick up my WhatsApp, and communicate to City Power. There is a street light that is off on such and such a street in this community. The closest corner is here. Bring someone, give me a reference number. Because chances are, you think that someone else is doing it. Chances are no one else is doing it. And maybe you are the person who can get that street light on when everyone has been thinking, some Bodu Tayits. But Abon. Who is this Masipala? Who is this Masipala? Because Masipala is a building. Masipala is us, the community, mphakathi. When there's no water, or there's a water outage, or there's a leak, metsi ana a tswa somewhere, I get. And tlamehile a fihlelle somewhere, I get. And then I patalla metsi ana, I get. A patalla keng ke di rates and taxes. A patalla keng ke rona re lo patala metsi, bo mma rona ba lo patala metsi ka tšhelete e siko. Re kwallwa metsi so, re kenyetswa di water meter so. Because there's probably a leak that is happening ya masipala, but e bilelwa rona. Rona ba na leng ditsha. Some of us actually don't, it's the same issue that you're saying. We are experiencing this problem. There are 6 people at Jardine. We need that car, that truck to come to drain the toilet. That's the stopgap. So we need to report it. We report it to the councillor. If the councillor can't do it, we have to escalate. We're going to escalate it somewhere. Comrade Tammy is going to give us an indication of how we approach these things in his submission, in his session, right? How we solve these kinds of problems. If, when you escalate it, where can we hide that councillor? Something else must kind to happen, right? We've heard some of the ways from Comrade Fane around how that might be approached. I'm not saying it's wrong, I'm not saying it's right. I'm saying it's one of the ways that people have been using to get the attention that we need on our issues. Civic action means participation, bringing ourselves to the story. And then we have to put the work in to make it. We have to do the work. Democracy wa isebeletse. Ke ba sebang sefela se. Lo di mo la sejeletswa, halala. Lo di mo la sejeletswa. It's the same thing in our communities, right? When you want a community that works, you work for it. You make it happen. Mona di sabab sing ne, ke le boleleng. Bon khone ba le ba makgowa ba nang diteng. Ba dutse founung. Ba dutse founung. Hello? I need to speak to the manager. Can I speak to your manager? I've been complaining about this issue for 3 weeks. I need to speak to your manager because this is a problem. That's what's happening in the suburbs. People are organized and they're organizing. People are interacting with their councillors. People are pushing their councillors to work. No maganjan. Right? They're saying if you don't work, you will be out of a job. If you don't work, we will complain about you and find a way to kick you out of your position. And this is possible. It's possible. You don't wait for elections if there's a problem. If there is someone who's corrupt, a ward councillor who's corrupt, there are ways and channels that we can complain, we can raise the issue, we can drive the issue until that person gets kicked out. We know our government, corruption, we know it, right to the top. We know it. That we have to practice our democracy to prove it to work because it's all we've got. It's all we've got. Otherwise, it's like chaos there. Highly chaos, things are just going to get worse. So, what we're trying to encourage you to do with us, and what we are working to do with you, is to build the capacity for us to make our democracy work. Part of it is about reminding ourselves about what our democracy looks like, reminding ourselves that democracy is choices made by the people, for the people, right? Which means that we have to bring ourselves, because we are the people, not our parents. You become engaged as a civic, you become civically engaged, not because you are 18 and now you can vote and you have a stake. From the moment you are born on this earth, you have a stake in this democracy. The mere fact that you live in your community, you have a stake in that community, you have a stake in our democracy. It means something to you because you want to be safe, you want clean water, you want clean and service toilets, you want streets, skontiri, you want data and internet, you want good educational opportunities, you want working opportunities, imisebenzi emhlabeni wethu, right? Because we are the ones who have to live in this life for at least the next 50, 60 years. Me, I'm old now. I'm 34. I've got like 20 years, 30 years left before I eat my pension. But you've got a long way to go still, right? So we have to find ways to make it work. Part of it is to say, and this is what our program is about with this elections work. Part of it is to say that yes, there are some of us who are going to vote this year. You've got your job to do in addition to the job that we all have to do. Your job is to be thinking and talking to your friends about how it is that we're going to vote for the right ward councillor in our community to do what they need to do and what we're going to do if they don't. Right? Because elections, voting is one thing in democracy. It's only one thing. The smallest piece of work, there's a bigger piece of work. The bigger piece of work is how then we build capacity in our communities. It's about what we are going to do on a day-to-day basis to build our democracy. It's about reporting the issue. It's about communicating with our ward councillor. It's about knowing what's happening. It's about organizing our friends to build up a youth bloc, a youth coalition. When they say youth power, it means clubs like AKF, Youth Club. That's what youth power, this is youth power. You want to know what's going on, you want to be involved, you want to do something about what's going on in your environment, in your community. You want to empower yourselves, no? Or get wrong? Right? You want to empower yourself so you can do something. Who have given up on life because the situation is so bad. We can't blame them. We can't blame them. The situation is bad. But we don't want a whole nation of young people. We are the most people in this country. We are the biggest number of people as young people. People under 35, biggest number of people in our country. What if we could organize ourselves and each other to start making local government work for us? Forget who have given up. Maybe we can show them something. So this is how I want to close. Let's not wait for someone somewhere to do something. Let's be someone here doing that something.